I just helped with that project. It was really a team effort. I got lucky with that opportunity. Do these phrases sound familiar to you? If you're nodding your head, I want you to pay close attention to what comes next. Because the way you talk about your work might be powering down your personal brand and standing between you and the recognition that you deserve at work. Hey y'all, I'm Georgia Wolfe-Samuels, CPA turned career strategist and personal branding coach. And in this episode of Surprising Tools That Actually Help You Advance Your Career, we are exploring the language of advocacy. What is the language of advocacy? Happy you asked. It is the strategic way you communicate your contributions and value in your professional spaces. Because in a world where women, especially women of color, are often socialized to downplay their achievements in the name of humility, how you talk about your work is just as important as the work itself. So let's get real about what's happening in today's workplace. Women are 67% less likely than men to self advocate for their contributions in professional settings. And when asked to describe successful projects they led, women use the we language 64% of the time, while men use the I language 61% of the time. And perhaps most telling is that when describing identical work achievements, language differences lead to a 28% perception gap in who deserves recognition and advancement. This isn't about personality or confidence. It's actually about the language patterns that we have been socialized into, particularly for women sitting on the margins of corporate spaces. We're taught to be humble, to deflect praise, to emphasize collaboration over individual contribution. And while these values have merit, they create a professional visibility crisis that impacts everything from daily recognition to long term career advancement and compensation. Because no matter how excellent your work is, if you can't effectively communicate its value, that excellence remains invisible. When we stop confusing humility with invisibility and start recognizing that accurate self advocacy is a professional responsibility, we can then dramatically shift the career brand that we ultimately create, the opportunities that we attract, and ultimately how fulfilled we are at work. While all forms of self promotion don't belong at work, effectively advocating for your contributions absolutely does. It means shifting from diminishing language to owning language, from I helped with to I led, when you actually led, from I got lucky to I positioned myself when you strategically created the opportunity, and from hoping your work speaks for itself to ensuring that it's spoken for by you. So, what does effective language of advocacy actually look like? And how does it create career advantage? I teach my clients a framework that makes this concrete and actionable, something that you can apply immediately and use in your professional communication. The language of advocacy is built on three essential pillars. Pillar one is precision. This means using specific, concrete language that clearly communicates the exact nature and scope of your contribution. What this means is instead of I helped with a client presentation, that you might say, I developed the financial analysis that formed the core recommendation and presented those findings to the client. Pillar two then is impact. This connects your actions directly to the business outcomes and the value. Instead of, I worked on improving the process, you might be more specific and say, I redesigned the approval process, reducing turnaround time by X percentage and increasing client satisfaction scores from X% to Y%, as an example, right? Pillar three then is ownership. This means using the first person language that accurately reflects your role in the contribution. So instead of we managed to solve the issue, you might say, I identified the root cause of the issue and implemented a solution that prevented X dollars in potential revenue loss. Effective language of advocacy requires precision, it requires impact, and it requires ownership that accurately communicates the value that you created. Your advocacy language is the bridge that connects your excellent work to the recognition that it ultimately deserves. And when you intentionally develop your language of advocacy, there are three specific professional advantages that happens. Number one, you become visible. Your contributions have the opportunity to be seen, to be recognized, and remembered. And so instead of your work being overlooked or attributed to others, your impact is clearly connected to you in the minds of decision makers. Number two, you increase the opportunity to earn appropriate compensation. Yes, this is about your money, okay? When you can articulate your value with specific evidence of impact, you transform salary and promotion conversations. And last but not least, number three, you build genuine confidence. This isn't the fake it till you make it type confidence. When you consistently practice accurate advocacy language, it does something to your mind. You internalize a clearer picture of your own value, creating a virtuous cycle where confidence and recognition reinforce each other. So, in today's workplace, especially for women sitting on the margins of corporate spaces, mastering advocacy language becomes a critical strategy for visibility and owning your power at work. It doesn't guarantee that you will overcome all the systemic barriers or biases that exist in corporate environments, because the reality is that women, especially women of color, often face additional scrutiny when they self advocate. But despite these external challenges, developing your language of advocacy remains one of the most powerful tools in your professional toolkit. Because while you can't control how others might initially receive your advocacy, you can control whether your contributions have an accurate voice advocating for them at all. The power of advocacy language is that it transforms how others perceive your work without changing the work itself. Same contributions, different language, completely different impact. So if you're doing excellent work that isn't being recognized or watching others advance while you stay in place, maybe the issue isn't your performance. Maybe, just maybe, it's how you're talking about your performance. This is just another surprising tool in our career advancement toolkit. So stay tuned for a special follow up episode where I'll share the language of advocacy that you can use in the midst of career aggressions and biases. Make sure to subscribe and stay locked in for the rest of the series, surprising tools that actually help you advance your career.